What's up, guys? Feed you information here. So, Apple reported their earnings today, and it does say here that Apple was 5% up on strong services upside outlook. However, at the end of the day, they had fallen 1.93% down. But it looks like in post-market, they're up almost 5%. So I guess we'll see how it opens up tomorrow. Maybe people are just trading the crap out of it right now. Anyway, though, I wanted to go ahead and go through the revenue breakdown and a few more articles. One's covering how they raised their dividend, the other one's just simply the revenue and the EPS. But let's go ahead and cover this. So we have revenue breakdown. The iPhone came in at $31.05 billion, which consensus was $30.93 billion. So they're still beating consensus, even though, people are like, oh my gosh, the iPhone's dead. iPad is at $4.87 billion. Consensus was $4.23 billion, so they beat on that. MacBook, however, was $5.5 billion. They missed by $400 million because it was $5.9 billion consensus. Services were at $11.5 billion, slightly beating consensus, but still that's some strong services at $11.37 billion. Wearables and home were $5.13 billion, and consensus was $5.03 billion. So clearly Apple is still doing very well. All of their products are selling very nicely. Greater China revenue dropped from $13 billion in last year's quarter to $10.2 billion, so we're still having a bit of issues with China. Operating expenses were $8.41 billion, consensus was $8.55 billion, but less on those expenses. It's better if we have less expenses in comparison to consensus. Guidance is $8.5 billion to $8.6 billion, so we'll see how they do on that. Quarter 3 guidance has upside revenue from $52.5 billion to $54.5 billion, which beats consensus either way. Hopefully they can draw in $54.5 billion. The more they have, the better it looks. 37 to 38% gross margin, which is really good. Consensus has basically that, almost 38% at 37.9%. And operating expenses from $8.7 billion to $8.8 billion. Consensus was $8.54 billion, and that beats consensus, so that's good. Anyways, let's go ahead and cover these other two. We have Apple raises dividend by 5.5%, so that's always awesome. Since the stock is still pretty cheap, I'm going to go ahead and do that in a separate cover video. There's 4 stocks now that have released their earnings, so they have new valuations, so I'm going to cover that. So make sure to like and subscribe if you want to go ahead and see that video, because I will probably be posting it after this one. But anyway, Apple declares 77 cents a share quarterly dividend, which is 5.5% increase. Just so you guys know, again, that's prior dividend of 73 cents. So it basically went up 4 cents, and that was 5.5%. Sorry, I'm totally talking too fast. Anyways, Apple, we have quarter 2 GAAP EPS of 2.46, which beats by 0.1. So the consensus was 2.36. I don't know why they don't just put the consensus here in parentheses. It's pretty weird. But revenue of $58.02 billion. So that's probably why, because that is down 5.1% year over year. But I mean, 5% for Apple, they're still making so much in revenue. Like who can say on a quarterly basis that they're putting up almost $60 billion in revenue? Like, that's just crazy, especially beating EPS. But anyways, guys, that's it. We'll see how Apple does tomorrow, and make sure to like this video if you haven't already. I really appreciate it if you did enjoy it. If not, give it a dislike, and I'll have to do better next time. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Feed you information out.